Hi everybody, this Mat-172 review for Test 2 is brought to you by the ILC. We're going to start with problem 2. Alright, 2a says, evaluate the arc cosine of negative root 2 over 2. So we're finding the angle whose cosine is negative root 2 over 2. So with me, everything starts with a picture. Cosine is the x value. So we're finding the angle whose x value is negative root 2 over 2. Now I remember that's going to be these pi over 4 guys. So either this one, right, which is pi over 2 plus pi over 4. So that's 3 pi over 4 to that one. Or this one, right, which is 5 pi over 4. Now guys, you got to remember at this point, when you're dealing with arc cosine, right, the domain of arc cosine is only quadrants 1 and 2. These are the only ones that are allowed. So even though technically 5 pi over 4 is an answer, because of the domain, we only choose this one, 3 pi over 4. So remember, this is the domain of the arc cosine is 1 and 2. All right, so then question B says, find the inverse, right? Yeah, the inverse tangent of the tangent of negative 2 pi over 3. All right, so we're going to draw a picture. Tangent is negative when sine is positive and cosine is negative, or when sine is negative and cosine is positive. So either here or here, right? So negative 2 pi over 3 is here. The angle we started with was negative 2 pi over 3, which winds up here. It is coterminal with 4/3 pi. Okay, so the tangent of this angle is the square root of 3. So now we're trying to find the angle whose tangent is the square root of 3. So again, we can go here, where this angle is pi over 3, or we can go all the way to this angle, which is 4 pi over 3. Right? And these are both mathematically, okay, understandable. But you've got to think about this inverse tangent. Its domain is again 1 and 2, the first and second quadrant. For that reason, we can't use 4 pi over 3, and our answer is pi over 3. So whenever you're doing these arc problems, make sure you consider the domain. That's the key. All right, and lastly, 2c asks us to find the cosine of the angle whose sine is negative square root 3 over 2. All right, so again, I'm going to start with my drawing. So the sine is negative square root 3 over 2. So that's the y value is negative square root 3 over 2. So we're going to be here. So it's either going to be this angle or that angle. So the sine is negative square root 3 over 2 when we have 4 pi over 3. So this first one is going to be 4 pi over 3, or this one going all the way around, and that is 5 pi over 3. Now again, we must consider the domain. Inverse sine has a domain in the first and fourth quadrants. So 1 and 4. So the inverse sine of negative square root 3 over 2 must be this 5 pi over 3. So not that one, but this one. But we're not done. They ask us to find the cosine of 5 pi over 3. So again, you look at your unit circle, and the cosine of 5 pi over 3 is 1/2. And so that is our answer. All right, guys. Again, the takeaway message here is when evaluating inverse trig functions, always consider the domain. Because it can be really easy to think, oh, I have two answers, and you don't. Because of the domain, you only get these. All right, this has been problem 2. Thanks.